ready.
They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey, man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mrs. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mrs. Spann. This is episode number 66.2 of the show because we had 66.2 because this is our second time trying to get this episode in. We've been having some technical difficulties over here the last couple shows. That shit started when I had, friends of the show, Rod and Karen, of the Black Guy Who Tis podcast over. Stuff started sounding real robotic and whatnot. And then as we were recording last night, my man Jay Fool was in the chat room like, yo, Spann, you sound like that robot again. And I tried to salvage that episode with the audio from my webcam, but that shit did not sound good. And I ain't putting out no bullshit, man. I'm just not. No, we're not doing that over here. We're not doing that over here. So if we can avoid that at all costs, we will avoid that at all costs. So if you guys can hear me, if you're in the chat room and the sound of robotic, please let me know so that I can do some try to do some more fixing over here. But of course, before we get into everything, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Those voicemail messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. And if you're watching us live here on Facebook and or YouTube, you can chop it up with your man Spann while we're doing the show here live, man. So there's area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit us up on Threads, or hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. And I am also on Blue Sky. So for those of you who are not, who really, I know a lot of folks are like saying fuck Blue Threads now because of some of the recent changes that what was that dude's name? Zuckerberg made some changes and whatnot, and we're going to talk a little bit about those changes here later on in the show. But for those of you who are on Blue Sky, you're on Blue Sky exclusively, is Mr. Spann, no underscore, MrSpann.bsky.social. So for those of you who want to chop it up with me that way, that is also an option. You can also hit us up on Spotify and iTunes with a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know while you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, you can leave us comments on our Spotify, right? So you can go on, if you're listening to us via Spotify, you can leave us comments. You can vote in polls on those when we have polls on those episodes. So there's a bunch of different ways you can get in contact with us here over at this the Spann Report Podcast Network and the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. And last but not least, you can go to our store, man. We got coffee mugs, we got hoodies because it's cold outside. You might need that hoodie. Get you a sweatshirt or something. You know what I'm saying? Get your undershirt. You know what? Wear some shit around the house. Get you a nice little coffee mug. Sip your coffee or your tea or you might want some hot cocoa or something for the kids or whatnot. We got stuff for the babies too. And guess what? We got some hats now, motherfuckers. We got hats in the store now. So if you want to go there and get yourself some merch, we really do appreciate everybody who does that. That does cost you a couple bucks, but that's one of the tangible ways that you can help us keep this operation moving, man. So we appreciate everybody who does that. Thank you so much for your support and everything else. But that's not all. That is not all. So this past week anyway, represents the 14th year anniversary of the fact that the first time I picked up a microphone to become a podcaster, man. Yeah. 14 years. 14 years, man. Real talk. It's been a long time, man. And, one of the things I think about over this time is like how many people that I came into the podcasting game with who are no longer doing it, man. And I miss their voices, man. Like shout out to my man Brandon, Twan, Deidre, and Mike over at the Where's My 40 Acres podcast, man. I'm missing y'all, man. of course, Rod and Karen, they just celebrated 15 years on the mic together. And I'm shit, they've had some changes with their podcast. I know, Justin, there was another guy that used to be on Rod and Karen show. I'm forgetting brother's name, but I remember that they used to be 4 people on the on on the Black Guy Who Tips, man. But I remember the Player Hater podcast. I remember, even some people that I haven't heard from in a while. Like there was the Pennyman Doctrine and the Onyx Truth and all these different shows, man. Like, and I just think about like how many of these people that I came into and has experiences with in podcasting, and the fact that not too many of us are still around, man. So the fact that we still up here and we still doing it 14 years in the game, man, is kind of crazy. I'm feeling like an old head up in this motherfucker, man. Real talk. But it's a blessing to still be able to be out here, and I appreciate you guys for not only allowing for me to get on here and talk my shit, but actually wanting me to get on here and talk my shit. So like when I've been on hiatuses and shit like that, people are like, yo, Spann, where you at? This kind of lets me know that like, yo, people are they really do kind of want to hear what I got to say about some stuff, and that means a lot to your boy, that y'all fuck with me in that way. So thank you so much for all of you guys who've been listening to me for so long and supporting for so long. I can't thank you guys enough. Real talk. That's like, it means a lot to me. Real talk. My man Cliff, yo, Cliff is in the chat room, y'all. Cliff is in the chat room. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to my brother Cliff, man. Nigga, you supposed to be going to dinner. Go get something to eat, nigga. We gonna be here, baby. But yeah, man. We got a lot to get to. Man. And so one of the things we're gonna get to, I'm gonna get right on into. I do have a random thought. Let me stop right now. I do have a random thought. So one of the random thoughts that I had, and something like happened at work today. And I was like, it was weird. So have any of you ever been in a situation where you having a little bit of a back and forth with somebody, right? And, you're making a point to this person, and this person is adamant that you're wrong about the point that you're making. Okay. Y'all don't come to any sort of agreement about what y'all talking about. Y'all just let the conversation die off. Like, all right, whatever, Nick, fuck it. Agree to disagree, right? But then some months go past and a similar conversation is happening. And the nigga that you was arguing back and forth with, trying to make that point to, you realize this nigga is making the exact same point that you tried to make to him 6 months ago. That shit happened, man. I swear to God, that shit happened. And I'm standing there listening to this nigga say this shit that I was trying to ingrain in his head 6 months ago. This nigga trying to ingrain it in somebody else's head like it was an original idea, like he came up with the shit. Like, nigga, that's the same shit I tried to tell you 6 months ago. Am I the only person that happens to? I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure like everybody, has that sort of thing happen. But that was one of the things I was thinking about, man. Like, niggas really be out here faking the funk and shit. Like, they came up with some stuff. Like, wait a minute, dog. I tried to make that point to you 6 months ago, and you was arguing me down. Now you gonna argue this nigga down with the point that I was making to you? Come on, man. Make that shit make sense, man. Make it make sense. What's something I was thinking about, man? But that was it. That was the only random thought I had, man. I ain't have a whole lot of random thoughts, man. Just, I'm just dealing with, 2025 is here, man. We got, Trump coming into office in a few days, man. As a matter of fact, but this coming Monday, we gonna have a change in the regime and shit, and I ain't really feeling all that good about it. But apparently, though, there is Barack Obama and Donald Trump was real chummy at the goddamn what was that? Jimmy Carter's funeral, man. Jimmy Carter. Nigga! Yeah, man. And I got video of the shit. So we're gonna talk a little bit about it. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. See what exactly these niggas was talking about. Why was Barack Obama sniggling and giggling with fucking Donald Trump, man? So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. Excuse me. And we're gonna see exactly. We're going to at least observe, because we really don't know what the hell they talking about, but we're going to observe some of the body language and shit like that. So let's see what's going on here. We'll turn this music down, because that's all it is music. They're not really talking about anything that you can hear. But, it looks like Barack Obama's going through the program and shit, and, he's talking about something or somebody, and, Trump is, leaning in, laughing, smiling and shit, It's almost as if this nigga done forgot that he used to, like, not act. He don't forget that he done said Barack Obama was an illegitimate president. The nigga wasn't born here, and forced this man to come out with his birth certificate. Forced this man to come out with his grades and shit, despite the fact that his grades is much better than Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, y'all remember Donald Trump? He went to like his alma mater. He said that if his alma mater released his grades, that he would sue that goddamn school if they released his grades. Like, for somebody who is as great as Donald Trump says he is, why is this nigga always trying to hide some shit, right? So even like the January 6th report and whatnot, these niggas are really trying to keep that report from coming out. Now, if you was doing nothing wrong, brother, why would you not want that to come out? Like, nigga, I want put all this shit out because nigga, I ain't do nothing. I ain't did a motherfucking thing. But not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump. But like, so you got a whole bunch of people kind of shading Donald Trump, Barack Obama smiling here with him. I don't know what the hell he said that could have been that funny. But I'm gonna say this though, because I know a lot of folks have a little, they're not really feeling comfortable with how chummy Barack Obama was with him in this moment, right? I'm gonna just say this, man. There's a time and a place for shit. And I think what was going on here in this exact moment was that Barack Obama understood that he was being watched by everybody. Everybody was paying attention to his every move. And, it's already, patently obvious that Michelle Obama wasn't trying to be there. Like, so she wasn't going to be there. I ain't going to be there if I ain't got to be there. Like, there's a whole lot of people out here like, nigga, I ain't got to be there. I ain't going to be there. And she pulled that one. Like, nigga, I had a scheduling conflict. They're telling me it was a scheduling conflict. I ain't going to that shit. If I got to sit next to that son bitch, I ain't going, right? But I think what was happening was Barack Obama, in trying to keep up with decorum and trying to keep up with protocol and trying to, have some level of respect for the institutions that is, the presidency and everything else. I just think Barack Obama was playing the position. I don't think that Barack Obama truly enjoyed having to sit next to that motherfucker. I don't. I think he's, just trying to make the best of a bad situation where, hey man, I gotta sit next to this dude. I don't want to be, he has every right to be standoffish. And I know some people probably just wanted him to be standoffish and ready for the fight. But again, I think there's a time and a place for everything. And I don't think that, Barack Obama is all chummy with this dude. In much the same way that, everybody else is just like kind of not chummy with it. And they was being respectful. When you see Al Gore and Mike Pence now, Mike Pence's wife though wouldn't have any of it, bro. She would not acknowledge that nigga at all. And you know what? I can't blame her, nigga, because he tried to have her husband killed, right? So the fact that her husband, like the weird part about that is her husband still felt obligated to stand up and shake this man's hand after this nigga said, yeah, he probably deserved it if they'd have hung his ass. Like, that's some crazy shit, And like, you think about like some of the things that he said about everybody in that room, whether it's, George W. Bush, got us into some bad wars, which is true. Or, the Barack Obama didn't fucking, wasn't born here. And he's a secret Muslim and all that other shit. He cheated on his wife. Like, he done did some fucked up shit to just about everybody in that room, man. So you got that going on. But yeah, Barack Obama sniggling and giggling with Donald Trump, I know it wasn't necessarily a good look, but I think I understand it to be that, like, nah, man, like, this ain't the time and the place. We're here to honor the 39th president of the United States. This isn't about us. This is about us, again, honoring the institution. And one of the things I think Donald Trump has been successful in doing is eroding people's respect for the institution. So you got that going on, man, real talk. But man, I don't think Barack Obama really was like, chummy with this nigga. And in the ways in which people are really feeling like he was. But that's just my thoughts on it, right? So we move on. We move on to another topic. Now this one here a little bit more spicy, though. This one here is a little bit more spicy. So here in Detroit, y'all know we got open carry here in Detroit, man. We got concealed carry in Detroit. Motherfuckers got guns all over the place, man. It's very friendly here. It's very fucking friendly here in Michigan, man, because you never know. It just about anybody here could be packing, man. Anybody here could be packing. And you just don't know who you running up on. You might not come home that day, right? And so ironically enough, though, this here is kind of sad, though. It really is, because you had this one, it's an older black couple, an older black professional couple, and there was a dispute over how much a Mountain Dew costs at the gas station, to the point where Unc ends up pulling his piece on another customer in the store, man. And we do have the video. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Wait, is that another one? This is another. Okay. Wait, is this another article? Did I save another one? Let me go back and look. Just a second, you guys. Okay, so yeah, this is the one I had. This is the original one. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna read a little bit from this article. It says, "Video shows Larry Bradford push a man before they began to grapple. Bradford then begins hitting the man with a pop can in his hand, then throwing the man into racks of merchandise. Then he says, 'Let me get my pistol.'" So that's where we gonna pick up the video. That's what we gonna pick up the video. Let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Here we go. Check this out, y'all. Let's see what old man Bradford is doing, fighting up in the gas station. Check this out. Okay, so right now they're arguing over whether or not there's tax on groceries. And here in Michigan, for those of you who are not familiar, here in Michigan, when you buy a soft drink, if it's a pop or if it's like a beer or anything like that, except for bottled water, ironically, which is crazy. But if you buy a soft drink here in Michigan, there's a 10-cent deposit on the bottle or the canister or the container in which that soft drink comes in, and you pay that in advance. But when you get finished with that can, you bring it back to the store, to give you a dime for every bottle or can that you bring back, right? Apparently, Pops don't forget that you got to pay the deposit on the drink. And so they're arguing about whether or not this is going to be a tax on this pop that he's buying. And meanwhile, he's arguing back and forth with a customer behind him. But because ultimately, I think this customer like, "Hey, man, hurry up and buy this shit so I can get the fuck up out of here." But now, Unc ain't really feeling this man getting in his business. You know how black folks is about, "Hey, nigga, I ain't even talking to you, motherfucker. Why you over here with my shit, nigga? Get the fuck out of here."
Well, he's got quit getting in it. Ain't none of your business.
See? Ain't none of your business.
Who the fuck is you talking to?
Who are you talking to?
You put your hands on me, bitch. Push your motherfucking head. Don't talk to me like that. I don't know that fuck you. You don't know me.
Oh, shit. Now see, Pops out here. Unc out here he hitting him with the Mountain Dew. Now he moving this nigga around, man. Now see, this right here. Let this be a lesson to you guys who are not familiar. You do not want to be on the other end of that old man strength. Okay, you do not want to be on the other end of that old man strength. Old man strength is undefeated, man. Old man strength has been through some things. Old man strength, especially if it's cross racial. Oh, nigga, you really don't want any parts of that, because that man got a whole lot of rage against y'all. Y'all been getting away with some shit he done letting it slide, and here you are about to catch all of it. So he's slinging his white boy around his gas station like a rag doll. It's actually kind of amazing considering that look like a seasoned man, Now, at this point, you could tell Unc done went outside. And Unc is asking his wife to bring him his pistol. And he done said this repeatedly. I had the other video to this where you could actually hear him saying this. He's asking for his wife, "Bring me my pistol." He says it repeatedly, "Bring me my pistol." He done left the store. He's left the end of the altercation, goes outside, gets the pistol. I don't know why the screen rotated and shit though. That's ghetto. Okay, so now the screen is returned back to its original orientation, and it looks as though Pop's getting ready to come back. Yeah, he done went to the car, go get his shit. And the other guy, the white guy that got slung around, he looking for his glasses amongst all the shit that they done knocked over. He can't find his glasses. And he's asking shit. He wait for the cops to show up. Here come Unc. You can see Unc coming through the window right there.
No, don't go. Get on your motherfucking knees. Get on your knees. Say you sorry.
Now get on your knees and say you sorry. This is where Unc fucked up.
I found my goddamn ring.
And told him to find his ring. Now, at this point, this is where it becomes a criminal matter. Because you left the situation, and then you come back with a pistol, forcing that man on his knees.
I gotta find my ring. What happened? He trying to rob you?
Now his wife is saying, "What happened? Was he trying to rob you?" Now he's already in there with a pistol, right? Unc already in there with he got the piece on him already. He got old boy on his knees already and everything else. He just told this man he should blow his fucking brains out over a fight over whether or not he should pay 10 cents on a pot.
What happened? What happened?
Now she come in here, she got her pistol too.
What happened? We argued. What happened? You punched my husband out the door. He punched me. Baby, what happened? Yes, my friend. What happened?
So they both out here with the strap to the boy. They both out here strapping.
We argued. What happened? We argued. What happened? Larry, look what you said.
And she keep asking what happened, like she's really trying to find out what happened. I don't think she's really interested in trying to figure out what's happening, because he's trying to explain this shit to her, and she just keeps saying, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" He like, "Ma'am, he pushed me. He punched me." He trying to explain himself, and I guess I would too if I ain't had no strap either. They both got the tote to me. Like I might be like, "Hey man, like I ain't got no, I don't want no problems, man. I don't want no problems."
I'm gonna call the police. Go ahead and let him. Larry, let me call the police.
But now she's ready to call the police,
you gonna
right?
Stay down there.
Yeah, and you gonna stay down there. Yeah. So this, at this point, it's just
what the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn! What? Fuck!
All right. So I think that's what this was. This was an update to this, right? So the woman who came in asking what happened, she just so happens to be a Wayne County Parks director, and she was charged for bringing the gun into that gas station. And we're gonna read a little bit from this article. This comes from Deadline Detroit. It says Alicia Bradford, director of the Wayne County Parks, and her husband Larry Bradford. Oh, so they both are facing charges of assault with a dangerous weapon and felony firearm in connection with the fight January 1st. At a Farmington Hills gas station. She's been suspended without pay. She gonna probably lose that game. The incident began shortly after midnight on New Year's Day when Larry Bradford, 72, see, I knew he was seasoned, was purchasing a can of Mountain Dew. He questioned the store clerk, who was charging an extra 10 cents for what turned out to be the deposit. A customer in line behind him started to explain to Bradford, who told him to mind his business. The two got into a fight, and Mr. Bradley repeatedly hit the man with his can of Mountain Dew. Bradford left the store and returned with a 9mm handgun and demanded that the man get on his knees and apologize. The man apologized. Alicia Bradford then entered the store with a gun and pointed at the man, insisting, "You stay down there." So, yeah, man. Like, you hate to see it. Like, you hate to see it for people that old, right?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. No wonder you get D's and everything.
Because my thing is, she's a county employee. She ought to know better. She ought to know, like, you would think that the people with the licenses, and here's the other part. Here's the unsaid part that happens here in Michigan. I'm not sure if it happens anywhere else, right? But there are some unscrupulous instructors out here. Unscrupulous NRA certified instructors who will give you a certificate to say that you completed a gun safety course, that you completed the range time and everything else. They haven't done any of that shit with you. They will just take your $100 and give you a certificate so that you can go get your concealed carry license. And this is how I believe so many people who have licenses to carry, they have these licenses not knowing what it is it's supposed to know. And, you end up in situations like this where you got Alicia Bradford and her husband Larry out here pulling guns out on somebody at the gas station because Larry mad that somebody trying to explain to him what the 10-cent deposit is for. Right. So, yeah, man, craziness going on. Uncle and Auntie Bradford out here pulling guns out on folks on New Year's Eve, man. And I know that white man, he probably shit his pants like a motherfucker when that shit happened. But such is life, man. Such is life. We had that going on. Now, another thing that we got going on, man. Excuse me. We're gonna talk about this right now. Mark Zuckerberg, man. So Mark Zuckerberg has announced that on Facebook and Twitter, not Twitter, but Facebook, Threads, and Instagram, they are getting rid of fact checking over all three platforms. And many people are asking, are saying they're going to leave all of these platforms. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I ain't mad that he's getting rid of it. And I have my reasons, right? So we're going to read the story here. This comes out of go.com. It says that Facebook plans to replace its fact checkers with community notes, a move that Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said will allow the social network to return to our roots around free expression. We're replacing fact checkers with community notes, simplifying our policies and focusing on reducing mistakes, Zuckerberg said on Tuesday, looking forward to this next chapter. The changes, which will also be in place for Instagram and Threads, will lift restrictions on some topics that are part of the mainstream discourse and will focus the company's enforcement on illegal and high-severity violations. Joel Kaplan, Chief Global Affairs Officer, said in a blog post titled More Speech and Fewer Mistakes. Meta executives sought in their statements to tie the update to what they describe as a sea change in public discourse accompanying the rise of President-elect Donald Trump's brand of politics. Fact checkers who were put in place in the wake of Trump's 2016 election have proven to be too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they have created, particularly in the United States, Zuckerberg said. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards, once again, prioritizing speech. The decision also follows Zuckerberg's recent meeting with Trump at the president-elect's private Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. And Meta is donating to Trump's presidential inaugural committee, marking a first for the company. The shift in policy mirrors a series of updates that Elon Musk, a Trump ally, made after purchasing rival social network Twitter, which he has since rebranded as X. Kaplan on Tuesday praised the approach Musk has taken, saying X, under its new owner, has empowered its community to decide when posts are potentially misleading and need more context. We think this could be a better way of achieving our original intention of providing people with information about what they're seeing and ones that's less prone to bias. Okay, so here are my thoughts on this shit, right? I said I'm not necessarily mad at the fact that they're getting rid of the fact checkers. And the reason why I say I'm not really mad at the fact that they're getting rid of the fact checkers is because I don't believe that the fact checkers were very effective anyway, right? I think we are at a point, and I've alluded to this, I want to say on episode 64. I want to say that, like, I think we're moving to a point where we're like at a, like, almost a post-truth sort of society now, man, where like we don't all necessarily agree on objective truths anymore. A lot of times our truths are like, based upon how we're feeling about a certain thing, or how it lines up with us politically and everything else. And if it doesn't line up with our feelings, if it doesn't line up with our politics, if it doesn't line up with our philosophy, then we oftentimes will summarily reject it. And so like there have been plenty of times where you could put up something that's, that's objectively false, or better yet, you could put up something that's objectively true. And depending on who the source is, people were like, well, who published that? Was that the Washington Times? Oh man, the Washington Times is right-wing rag. I ain't reading that shit. Or it could be in much the same way on the other way. Like if it's the Washington Post, oh, it's the Washington Post. I ain't reading that shit. And so it gets to a point where whether the fact checkers are correct or not, most of the time they were. But if a person is inclined to believe what they already want to believe, the fact checkers, no matter what the fact checkers say, is not going to affect much anymore. And so couple that with, if people really did give a damn about the facts, will we really, really, really be coming up on the second inauguration of a Donald Trump? Will we really? I don't think we would if people really gave a damn about the facts, man. And part of that is the fire hose of misinformation and disinformation that people are having to sift through and everything else. But it's to a point now, man, where I feel as though especially for people of a certain age, right? I feel as though, like, people can't hold your hand through a lot of shit. You're gonna have to learn how to sift through some of this shit on your own. And the lack of media savvy that so many people have is the scary part to me. Right, that's the scary part. The lack of some media savvy. So many people can't tell you the difference between an AI image and what's not an AI image. So many people can't tell you the difference between a legitimate news outlet and some shit that somebody just came up with. I just saw a little a meme on Facebook just a few minutes ago where they were talking about Tyreek Hill is going to get traded to the Detroit Lions. And I'm like, why the fuck would the Detroit Lions even want him? And I also know that the trade deadline is already passed. So ain't no way the hell they're going to be able to trade for him anyway. And not the fact that, not even that the Lions would even want his crybaby ass, right? But you have so many people who don't know this stuff in the comment section, just going back and forth. Meanwhile, the person who posted that shit gets paid off of you not knowing, and you just going back and forth off of this meme they just kind of created out of thin fucking air, So that's the danger of the of not of removing the fact checkers. But ultimately, it like I said, I think it's to a point now where, like, even if you fact check that, folks don't care. If they want to believe something, they're gonna believe it no matter what it is you tell them, right? So, like, tell them that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. So what? Tell them that they're being hypocritical about the fact that they don't want convicted felons working regular jobs. So what? They don't care. They don't care, man. And so my thing is this, though. My thing is this, right? Especially on a platform like Threads, because on Threads, I know they were trying to throttle a lot of political content. I know I speak a lot about politics, and oftentimes maybe my posts were being, ranked down because of the political nature of the things that I was talking about. With this coming down the pike, maybe that ends, right? But my thing is this, before people of color, black folks in particular, when we were being met with any sort of like racism or anything like that in the comment sections or on Facebook posts or whatnot, people hitting you up in your on Facebook Messenger to say some racist shit to you, and you try to report them, nothing fucking happens. And then or better yet, if you just respond to them and like you clap back, then they report you for clapping back. Now you in Facebook jail. I'm gonna need them to, like, hey man, if this is what we're gonna be doing, if this is what we're going to be doing, then damn it, I needed to be even. Right? I need to be even. Don't have me out here fighting with one of my hands tied behind my back, thinking I'm going to let that shit slide, because I wouldn't let it slide if the person was in front of me a lot of times, right? Now, that's not to say that there aren't tools to keep me from having to clap back, but every now and again, I just might want to give a nigga like the business. I might want to rhetorically eviscerate a motherfucker. I might want to go scorched earth on a motherfucker and let them know, like, this probably wasn't the shit you wanted today, right? I might want to do that, but give me the option. Don't let this person like berate me racially, and then I don't have any, and then when I do clap back, now I'm in trouble. That's some bullshit. So if we're going to be doing this meta, if you're going to be taking away the fact checkers, if you're going to be taking away the moderators in that way, if you're going to be amplifying political content on Threads and on Instagram, and we know that a lot of the right wing, they can't wait to get over there to start spouting that bullshit, right? Leave me with the option of being able to fight back. I already have the option to not engage also. That's the other part. Because there's so many people that are like on Threads now who are talking about they're leaving for Blue Sky because they're like, yo, man, Elon Musk is going to, all these, the Nazis in the races are going to come here. Like, man, they got their tools for you to not have to engage with these people. You can block this motherfucker. You can, if they try to quote thread you or whatever, you can remove your quote from them so they don't, people don't pile on your post. You can, if anybody responds to you negatively, you could just not say anything, and then on top of it, hide their reply for everybody, so nobody even knows what the fuck they even said. They are talking into oblivion. There are tools available for people to use. I just know one thing: I'm not about to keep running from platform to platform just because like the owners of these motherfuckers decide they want to do some other shit. I'm not doing that, man. I already got rid of Twitter, and like that was the principal thing for me, on the strength of the owner saying he's wondering why nobody wanted to, why nobody was trying to kill Kamala Harris. That was the breaking point for me, right? That was the principal stance I took there. Mark Zuckerberg allowing for the racists to come back on Facebook. Hell, we knew Mark Zuckerberg was a piece of shit when he let the Russians come over and use Cambridge Analytica to pump up so much misinformation and disinformation during the 2016 campaign. That's what the fact checkers came in to begin with. So yeah, man, I get it. If you're going to leave, if you don't want to be on Facebook anymore, I get it. If you don't want to be on Instagram anymore, I get it. Hell, I'm hardly ever on really Instagram anymore, to be honest with you. I'm mostly on Threads. And, but if you decide to leave, hey man, more power to you. Your mental health is important to you and all this other thing. Boy, bon voyage. I am never going to begrudge nobody for none of that shit. However, give me the opportunity, give me the chance to fight back. Don't tie my hands behind my back. So with that, I would appreciate if Mark Zuckerberg would at least do that, give us that option, as opposed to what's been happening, where marginalized people or minorities. Let me not even say marginalized people. Minority groups are being squashed because they're responding to some bullshit coming their way, man. Fuck all that. Let me fight back. I trust me. I can handle myself. Right? I can handle myself. It's very easy to fuck. It's very easy to fight with maggots, man. Real talk. They're not a very like bright group. They're really not. So you got that going on. Now, another thing I want to talk a little bit about, man. Are these the final days of TikTok, man? So TikTok is scheduled to be like sundown here in America on the 19th of January, man, if the Supreme Court doesn't step in and stop this from coming in, right? And so one of the things about this though, like I remember it's ironic that as much as like Donald Trump is talking about trying to save TikTok now, when he was president the first time, he was actively trying to get TikTok banned then. I think now he found out he got some supporters over there that he's trying to save it now. Because it's always, self-interest when it comes to that motherfucker, right? But people are looking for alternatives to TikTok should it get banned, right? Now, one of the things I have been observing over the course of the last couple of days, man, is like watching how people talk about the potential demise of TikTok here in America. And you got some people who are like good riddance, and you got some people who are just like, they losing a lot, man. Like shout out to my man Dilla, Sherm Dilla Thomas, man, my brother from high school. Yeah, I've had him on the show. That man he's got like 120,000 followers on TikTok. He was dropping 60 seconds of Chicago history on every TikTok, man. You learn something on this shit. And he was able to, not only do that, but transfer that shit over into a whole thriving business where he's touring Chicago for tourists and locals alike. And they get a chance to learn things about the city that they hadn't known before, right? And so that's like, it sucks for him to have to, try to have to replace that revenue stream. And so, one of the things that people say, well, shit, you can just use Instagram or you can use, Snapchat and stuff. But like, I think the algorithms are different on those platforms, man. And the way that they present your shit is different on those platforms. There's a reason why people are gravitating more towards TikTok and not towards Instagram. As a matter of fact, it was TikTok that made Instagram come up with Reels in the first fucking place. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube got YouTube Shorts and shit now. And like, I'm gonna be honest, like the like that short like format stuff is cool, but it's not my jam. Right? It's not my jam. I hate when I'm trying to watch some shit on the TV and like niggas got they recording and you can tell they didn't record it and they got their phone set up like this and not like this like it's supposed to get that widescreen shit popping. You know what I'm saying? Like I got this big ass TV and you got me watching this shit in the sliver, man. Fix that shit. Right? So we got a list here though from TechCrunch of possible replacements for TikTok. But we're gonna read from this article. It says TikTok has warned of a looming shutdown in just 6 days, as the Supreme Court is currently weighing a law that would ban the app. So we thought it's time to take a look at other platforms that may be able to fill TikTok's shaped hole in our lives. There's no one-to-one replacement, but there are some viable options to consider that offer a similar experience. So the first thing they come up with is Instagram Reels. Instagram Reels product is arguably the most popular TikTok clone, and for good reason. Many of the videos are the same. True. As creators often share the same content that they post on TikTok to Instagram Reels. Plus, a lot of the trending sounds and topics on TikTok eventually make their way over to Instagram Reels, kind of like how Twitter used to be for Facebook. However, given that TikTok's algorithm is largely unmatched, Instagram Reels might not be able to surface videos you're interested in the same level that TikTok can. But Instagram has spent the past few years enhancing the Reels recommendation algorithm, so we can probably expect it to get better over time. YouTube Shorts is another one. YouTube is another platform that has been building out and prioritizing its TikTok-like product. Shorts might be the best TikTok alternative if you're someone who already spends a lot of time on YouTube, which I do, or likes to find new music on TikTok, given that YouTube Shorts has access to YouTube's vast variety library of songs and music videos. YouTube Shorts has an advantage that other services on this list don't, which is integration with a popular long-form video content platform. Millions of people around the world already go to YouTube every day to watch content. So if TikTok were to get banned, YouTube has the potential to become the go-to place for short-form content as well, especially if top TikTok creators choose to use it as a new home for their content. Now, ironically enough, as they say, YouTube being the top one. I saw some shit on Threads today that was trending where a lot of these niggas ain't going to YouTube, they ain't going to Instagram, they going to some shit called what was it, Red Note, and it's like the Chinese version of TikTok. And I gotta say, like, the pettiness of you niggas is unmatched, right? Because the whole reason that TikTok is supposedly getting banned is because the Chinese government is using TikTok to spy on Americans. And these Americans are like, well, fuck it, nigga, spy on me. I want to see these clips. Fuck the goddamn government, nigga. I'll put my username is my social security number 579243957. Right. I'm sorry for whoever's like social security number that is. My bad. You know, it was random, you know. But yeah, like they're promoting YouTube as if that was gonna be the one, but like niggas ain't talking about going to YouTube, they going to Red Note. We got another one here, Snapchat Spotlight. They got another one, Triller. I remember they were doing they used to do what was that? The verses. The verses stuff was happening on Triller. I ain't heard about Triller ever since. Ever since the verses kind of died down, man, I ain't heard about Triller ever since. Red Note, this is the one that they were doing that I saw was trending on Threads that people were going to. Lemon 8. Now that was something I saw on TikTok. So I got a couple notifications on my TikTok channel where people were requesting to follow me on Lemon 8, but I believe that this particular app is going to be is possibly going to be tied into the ban as well because it's owned by the same company that the government is trying to ban. So, you know, I don't know how viable that one was going to be. And then there's another one called Likey. I've never heard of this one. Likey is a short form video app that, alongside the ability to share videos, features editing tools and live streams. The app boasts over 100 million users from all around the world. And then Fanbase. Now, I am on Fanbase. The thing about Fanbase, though, that I think Fanbase is trying to be everything to everybody. This shit trying to be TikTok. It's trying to be Instagram. It's trying to be Clubhouse. It's trying to be Snapchat. It's trying to be Twitter. It's trying to be all these things. And I, you know, like, what's my man name? Isaac Hayes III has been promoting this. He's really trying to promote, you know, having some sort of ownership stake in Fanbase. I think it's like $3.99, $400 before you get like 60 shares in the app and whatnot. And, you know, his thing has been that they don't throttle your content, right? And there's something to be said about that. I think it's going to take, it's going to be a while for, I think, Fanbase to catch on, though. I know Roland Martin has been promoting it heavy. I see Isaac Hayes III on a lot of his videos all the time. They've been promoting it heavy over there, I believe, because, you know, mostly because it's Black owned, right? So, you know, that they're you know, this is being presented as an option. But until folks get over there and really, you know, just be over there, it's gonna take a while, man. Because that was one of the things about fan bases that, like, you know, you can join, but if ain't nobody over there, man, it's like the experience isn't as enjoyable. So you got that going on. But yeah, man, I'm probably put this up as a poll question for you guys. Do you believe that TikTok is going to be done for after this week? Is this the last week is this the last hurrah for the clock app, man? So we got that going on, man. Now, another thing that we're going to talk about here. Should I talk about this? No, I'm not going to talk about that. No, we're going to save that one for the next show. But we are going to talk about this, though. So, there's a scandal at Fox News. I'm sorry, not Fox News. Excuse me. Fox Sports 1. There's a scandal at Fox Sports 1. And it's a sex scandal. Of, you know, the kinds of scandals that the Fox properties always tend to have, right? And this one has to do with one Skip Bayless offering a hairstylist $1.5 million to have sex with her. Nigga! Yeah, man. So we get this story here. This comes out of well, I have a couple different articles attached to this. Where happened to the original one? Well, I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle that I can't find it. Okay. So let's do this. Okay, so here we go. We get this. This comes out of Mediaite. And this is the top 5 wildest details from the Fox Sports misconduct lawsuit. So, like I said, there was a woman, her name by the name of Nushin Faraji. She is the hairstylist who is suing Fox News. She is suing, I keep saying Fox News, Fox Sports 1 for sexual harassment and creating a toxic workplace. So we get from the article, it says a former Fox Sports employee filed a lawsuit accusing several key figures of creating a toxic work environment where sexual harassment was commonplace. The lawsuit was filed Friday in Los Angeles and reported Sunday by Front Office Sports. In it, hairstylist Nushin Faraji named executive vice president of content for FS1 Charlie Dixon, former Fox Sports pundit Skip Bayless, and current host Joy Taylor as the defendants and main sources of her mistreatment during her 12 years with the company. Throughout her time with the company, Faraji claimed to have experienced, seen, and heard stunning details of workplace harassment and misconduct. Now, the first story, one of the first major allegations that was lobbied was that Skip Bayless allegedly offered Faraji $1.5 million for sex in response to her saying that she might have cancer. Arguably the biggest bombshell, right? The biggest bombshell filled with them was in a lawsuit filled with them was Bayless alleged treatment of Faraji. She claimed that the former Undisputed Star once called her voluptuous during one of her weekly haircuts in the makeup room in 2017. Shortly after the weekly haircut started, Bayless began finding excuses to touch Miss Faraji. He would give her lingering hugs after each haircut, putting his body against hers, pressing against her breast, the lawsuit states. He then began to kiss her on her cheeks. In 2021, Faraji developed issues in an ovary that she was told might have been cancerous. Excuse me. That she was told might have been cancerous. When she relayed that news to Bayless, hoping it would halt his advances, he allegedly offered her money for sex. When she rejected the offer and pointed out that they were both married, he responded with an offensive remark about her Muslim faith. Approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made another advance at Ms. Faraji. The lawsuit continued. Ms. Faraji responded, "Skip, don't stop. You have a wife." Mr. Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Don't your dad have like 3 or 4 wives?" Ms. Faraji responded that her father was dead, and when Mr. Bayless looked taken aback, she made an excuse to leave. Now, that's some fucked up shit to say. Like, you think that, like, mentioning the fact, even if that were true, you thought that was going to get you closer to getting you what you wanted? Right? I don't like she's bringing up your wife to say, like, listen, you about to do your wife wrong, man. What are you doing? And he like, yeah, but don't your daddy got like 4, 5 wives? Like that's gonna be like I don't understand his logic in thinking that was gonna get you closer to the draws, bro. I don't get it. I really don't. The number 2, Taylor was named moderator of Undisputed despite Undisputed following an alleged affair. Faraji claimed to have met Taylor for drinks one night in 2016. This is Joy Taylor we're talking about. Upon arrival, Faraji noticed that Taylor sitting with a much older man, Dixon. The hairstylist suspected that the two were sleeping with one another. She suspected. She didn't know. The hairstylist suspected that the two were sleeping with one another. Faraji later saw Dixon in an elevator at work and then told Taylor she spotted the guy who always buys our drinks. When Taylor explained who Dixon was, Faraji warned her the dangers of such a relationship. Later that year, word spread that Fox Sports would soon be launching its own debate show to rival ESPN's First Take. The show, Undisputed, would feature Bayless and former NFL star Shannon Sharpe. Many were surprised to hear that Taylor, who was relatively inexperienced at the time, was named moderator of what would be the network's flagship show. But behind the scenes, Dixon was allegedly adamant that she should be on the show. So, again, most of this stuff, these are allegations. We don't know much of this stuff to be true yet. It hasn't been proven. These are all allegations. These are being alleged in the lawsuit. But I would, like I said, as it's being presented, she's saying like she suspected that these folks were having sex. She didn't know, other than the fact that she saw them, met them, and maybe they were being a little friendly when they was at the dinner or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily prove anything, right? And the other question that I have about this is that, like, how does if this were true, if Joy Taylor was having a sexual relationship with Dixon, how that facilitated a toxic workplace for Faraji, Nushin Faraji. Like, I want to try to make those links. How do we get to that, making it a hostile work environment for Joy Taylor to be linked with this guy in a sexual way? Number 3, Taylor told Faraji to get over it when she was told that Dixon groped her. Well, okay, we're going to see. It says, in 2017, Faraji was working on Undisputed thanks to Taylor's recommendation. Earlier that year, Taylor had her birthday party at a rooftop bar in West Hollywood. Multiple coworkers, including Dixon and Faraji, were present. At some point in the night, Faraji was allegedly approached by Dixon, who then placed his hand on her lower back. After she refused to drink, he lowered his hand to grab her butt. She faked a phone call to get out of the situation. When she confided in Taylor, the undisputed moderator told her to get over it and that she herself only had her job because of Mr. Dixon and that Miss Faraji only had her job because Miss Taylor requested her. She warned that Mr. Dixon could take both away. Okay, so in this particular instance right here, right? One could surmise, one could think that, yeah, you come to your coworker to say like, yo, this man did this to me. What am I to do and everything else, right? And because this coworker could stand to lose something, she may tell you like, nah, you might want to suck that up, right? Not saying that's right. Not saying that's the thing that she should have done at all. But I think that sounds as though that sounds like someone trying to protect something that they think they've earned, right? The other part about this is that another thing that you could surmise is it could be the thoughts and the actions of someone who does not want to be involved. Someone who does not want to be, when if there's a lawsuit coming down, I don't want y'all pulling me into nothing. I don't want to have to testify against nobody. I don't want them problems, man. I just want to go out here, do my job and keep my head down and everything else. That sort of thing. Could be that. We don't know because again, all these are allegations. But like the idea again that, Joy Taylor telling her to get over it fostered the toxic work environment. And when I think what was really being what I would surmise is like, listen, I got my job because of this person you talking about. You got your job because I asked for you to be here with me. This motherfucker that you're talking about could take it away from the both of us. We both stand to lose. So if you don't want us to lose this shit, you might want to, pipe down a bit. Like, again, I'm not saying that's the right way to go about shit, but I think that's the way that Joy Taylor was probably thinking about shit when everything kind of came, her way. It says, number 4, Taylor allegedly slept with FS1 colleague Emmanuel Acho to get another show. Said when Faraji met with Taylor for lunch on one day in 2020, she found that Taylor was with a man who would later be identified as Emmanuel Acho. Faraji didn't know him at the time, but like with Dixon, she could tell that Taylor and Acho were romantically involved. Once Faraji discovered he was a co-worker, Taylor revealed that she wanted him to recommend her for the show Speak for Yourself. The complaint says that Faraji warned her against having affairs with both Acho and Dixon at the time, but Taylor said that there was nothing to worry about. She explained that she was now also powerful, the lawsuit states, and that once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other women talent. Now, this here had like this particular like allegation here had the sports bros in an uproar. Sports bros all over the place losing their motherfucking shit because this is now, this is another one of these women setting the dudes up. They setting the dudes up. She ain't get the job because she earned the job. She earned the job. She got the job because she looked good. She don't even need to. She need to shut the fuck up and all this other stuff. And we gonna talk a little bit about this, right? So, reason why one of the things I thought was interesting with this particular lawsuit was just how quickly it became more so about Joy Taylor as opposed to the sexual harassment that Nushin Faraji received from one Skip Bayless. Now, Skip Bayless caught some jokes, but he ain't getting it like Joey Taylor been getting it out here on these YouTube and social media streets, man. So one of the things I noticed, man, let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. But one of the things I noticed, and let me do this here. I did some, I just did a little cursory search and shit. And I just typed in Joy Taylor's name on YouTube. And when I typed in her name, like a lot of the titles of videos and shit, like I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch. But like, yeah, you see a lot of the titles is bombshell lawsuit alleges Joy Taylor was planning on Me Too herself to gain power at Fox Sports. Fox Sports Freak Offs exposes Joy Taylor. Fox Sports Freak Offs exposed Joy Taylor, Shannon Sharp, and Skip Bayless. So now they putting in all the keywords and shit. Joy Taylor proves that women can sleep their way to the top. Fox Sports 1's bombshell lawsuit, Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Acho. Like, slept with all of Fox. Now, if you look at these thumbnails also, it's mostly Joy Taylor, across the front of all of this. And it's mostly, and if you notice, it's the same motherfucking dudes too, making multiple videos, multiple kind. Like if you look at some of the video, like the view counts, 34,000 views in 7 hours, 51,000 views in 3 hours. Joy Taylor, season 5, allegedly slept her way to the top. Bombshell, Fox Sports exposes Joy Taylor. This one was in 5 hours, it had 20,000 views. So one of the things I've been noticing in how we talk about these things on social media and in sports and everything else is like, if there's a woman involved some sort of way, it's going to be the woman's fault, man. Like, these niggas are not about to allow these women to be in this space and not catch hell, man. And the reason why I say that is like, this is like it's starting to become sadly predictable, and that's a pattern. It's a pattern, man. Think about this for a second. A sexual harassment lawsuit comes out, and the alleged sexual harasser was one Skip Bayless. But Joy Taylor becomes the face of the lawsuit because Sports Bro Media has made her the face of the lawsuit. They just joke a little bit on Skip Bayless, but she's got to be the face of it. They want to bring her down in much the same way that we've seen how sports bros act when it comes to Malika Andrews. Sports bros have a narrative about Malika Andrews, that Malika Andrews doesn't like black men, because Malika Andrews would be out here actually doing her fucking job by reporting on the news of the league, right? Reporting on the news of the league. And they think that there's something that she should omit, despite the fact that these things are very motherfucking relevant to how teams were thinking about players and everything at the draft, right? Or how, like, they wanted her to speak more on Josh Giddey allegedly having an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl, and then finding out later there wasn't a whole lot to that story, and then being upset with the fact that, like, well, why didn't she say anything about that? Well, think about who her employer is. Think about who her employer is and how that is affecting the team and how the team is looking at that situation. And as a matter of fact, I believe that Josh Giddey got suspended or something like that behind that shit. And she's reported on that too. But they didn't want to talk about that because that went against the narrative, right? So you got that going on. Another thing. What's her name? Angel Reese. Angel Reese just recently got rid of her Instagram. Part of the reason why Angel Reese got rid of her Instagram is because Angel Reese was out here being a 22-year-old young lady on Instagram, and niggas lost their shit. Angel Reese out here dressing, like a 22-year-old young lady would when she's feeling herself, when she's feeling her body and she's owning who she is as a woman. And like, these dudes lost their fucking minds at the, like, oh, they saw some titties. And now you got Charleston White on platform saying Angel Reese doesn't want to be a ball player, she want to sell pussy. Right? And so now you got NBA podcasters who invited this goofy motherfucker on their platform to say this stupid shit. And now they got to try to pull, we got to pull this back because, we want to be invited to the WNBA All-Star game and cover that weekend and everything else. But you allowed this goofy motherfucker to come on your platform and say that stupid shit. And now we have, not even just this, not even the Joy Taylor thing. Think about what's going on with Travis Hunter and his girlfriend and all of these 30, 40, 50-year-old dudes who act as though they got this boy's best interest in heart. Like, they know that guy like that. They don't know that guy like that. And if they were really smart, they would know that nobody would be listening to them. You wouldn't be listening to a stranger about your situation. So what makes you think that this boy is going to listen to you about his situation? He don't know you from a can of paint. But most of the animus is about the young lady that he's with. There are hate campaigns about women in the sports world, man. Like, you think about how people, like, the vitriol that people come at Jemele Hill with when she has the audacity to have a sports opinion. Many of the same people be like, well, you never played the game, so how would you know? Like, nigga, shit, you were out of the NBA either. You had a snowball's chance in hell, so why is your opinion more valid than hers? She can observe the game in much the same way that you could. Same thing with Mina Kimes. If you watch an episode of First Take, or better yet, if you watch an episode of First Take or like a clip of First Take on YouTube, you see in the comment section all the dudes really going in on Molly Qerim about why Molly Qerim is speaking right now, why she cutting this man off, why she asking this, why she doing that. And then we bring this full circle back around to Joy Taylor. At a time where Skip Bayless is out here offering $1.5 million to have sex with his hairdresser, Joy Taylor is allegedly the face of the face of the scandal because allegedly she had sex with two dudes at the job. And she planned, allegedly, to Me Too the Dixon guy and say that she was, falsely accused that man of forcing himself on her. Allegedly. Because again, we don't know. But you notice how quick niggas was to believe that was the case? Right? Now, interestingly enough, these are the same motherfuckers who have a hard time believing women. Right? Like, they have a hard time believing women. Like, when anytime somebody says, like, yo, man, like, if like a prominent man is being accused of something and and it's a woman involved, you're like, man, well, shit, man, how you know this? Why she wait so late to come out and say anything, right? But you notice how that tune has changed? Now, they're so ready to believe this woman when she's talking about another woman that they might not necessarily like all that much. And I'm gonna tell y'all niggas why they don't like this woman. Because she's inaccessible to them. In much the same way that Angel Reese is inaccessible to them. Molly Qerim is inaccessible to them. All of these women are inaccessible to them. And in some ways, there's a resentment there that, like, yo, she make me feel a certain way. She look good, but she ain't supposed to be saying the sports shit. She's supposed to be in the kitchen. She's supposed to be doing this. Fuck. They don't know what to do with themselves, man. They hate the fact that these women like are in these positions. They hate the fact that they looking at them and they looking good than a motherfucker, man. Because Joy Taylor fine as shit. Let's just keep it a buck. Joy Taylor fine as shit. And they hate the fact that they don't have access to someone like her, right? Now, it's not even just the niggas that don't have access. It's some of the niggas that did have access. It's some of the niggas that did have access, but now they acting as though like they had. But you know what? I take that back. Not access. They had proximity, but they didn't have access. And I think because they didn't have access, they are also resentful too. And I say all that to say, Jason Whitlock came out and had to say something about this particular situation. And I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can hear some of the retarded shit that he had to say about this. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. And we're gonna see what the hell Jason Coonlock got to say about this Joy Taylor, Skip Bayless scandal at Fox Sports 1. Check this out.
To be hypercritical of Joy Taylor. I don't have harsh opinions of Joy Taylor. She's not someone that I didn't get along with. I basically, for the most part, just kept my distance from Joy Taylor. And I kept my distance, not because I didn't like her, it's just because I knew myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of.
What?
And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly. It's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack. Like, Jay, keep your distance. That's going to get you into trouble. And so that's what I did. I kept my distance.
So basically, this man is saying, I can't control myself. I can't control myself. So look at it. Oh, y'all know what that shit sound like?
White fever get in your blood, man, it'll make you crazy. And they got them short little skates nowadays and that, what they call them, the tongues? Thongs. Yeah, right. They got the thongs all up the booty crack and they got that sweet white nectar. Oh, Lord have mercy. And after that, it's over. You wake up and you don't even know what you done. Just a pool of sweat around your ankles and a deep sense of satisfaction.
That's what Coonlock sound like right now. them big old cans and that peanut butter skin. I know what I'm capable of. Oh, Lord. I couldn't control myself, so I had to maintain my distance. I don't dislike Joy Taylor. I don't dislike her at all. As a matter of fact, I really like Joy Taylor. I just had to, I just know if I hadn't got away, man, who Lord, who knows what would have happened? Because I know what I'm capable of. Drooling. That's about it. And drooling. But ultimately, man, like I said, I think this is one of those things where, we are seeing yet another woman become, another hate campaign, mostly online, man. I'm still trying to figure out how, like how Joy Taylor created the toxic work environment for Nushin Faraji, right? Now, one way that I think it could possibly be happening is this. If it's true that Joy Taylor was out here trading sex for positions at work, maybe that facilitated an environment where, the men that they were in their vicinity thought that they had access to all of the women around them because of the behaviors of Joy Taylor. I'm not sure if that's the argument that she's making, but maybe that's the argument that she's making. And I'm not really sure, right? But again, it started off as a sexual harassment thing with Skip Bayless, and then I looked up. Joy Taylor's all over the news. Joy Taylor's all over social media about her allegedly trading sex for positions at work, and also possibly setting up someone for a Me Too type of deal. Again, all of this stuff is alleged. We don't know any of this stuff to be true. And I'm sure when as this case moves along further, we'll start to see, man, like shit, popping up in Discovery, and, you start seeing emails. People got to preserve them emails and text messages and whatnot. We'll start finding out whether or not any of this shit is true. But until then, man, I think is nothing wrong with saying, like, well, shit, I don't know until some more information comes out. Right. But that wouldn't get you views. That wouldn't get you, the clicks. That wouldn't get you the attention. In much the same way that when I was talking about how people were glomming on to the idea of Travis Hunter and his girlfriend. All of these dudes talking about they're doing it because they're looking out for the young man. Like, nah, nigga, you don't give a fuck about that young man. What you do care about is the fact that you might be able to get some views on this shit and monetize off of it. I don't know that man to care about him like that. Just like y'all don't know this young lady to care about this either. Y'all don't care. Unless, of course, you could promote you could promote some sort of politic. You could promote some sort of philosophy about it. You could promote some sort of theory on it. But ultimately, man, these niggas don't be caring, bro. And all of them be repeating the same shit that each other is saying. It'd be the same circle jerk of the same niggas. When you see those, I'm telling you right now, if you go back and you watch the little scroll of all the videos that I did, you're gonna see the same names over and over again. Because that's just what they own. That's their whole MO. So yeah, man, you got that going on. I would hope that people at some point we get to a point where, like, yo, I ain't gotta necessarily be first. I don't gotta be first. I just want to be right. Right. I ain't gotta be first. I just gotta be right. And so sometimes being right means you gotta wait. Gotta wait for more information to come out. And that's it. That's all. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say, man. I've been running my mouth for a little bit. Like I said, this is actually the second time I've recorded this podcast. Hopefully the shit sounds good. I would hate for me to get off of this mic and it sounds terrible after I didn't record this for the second time. But yeah, man, I got to get on up out of here. But of course, before we do, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave me those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. You can also email us here. No, you can't email us here. The email is broken. So hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, hit us up on YouTube, man. Our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us comments on the YouTube channel. Like on the videos on the YouTube channel. And those likes, well, not necessarily likes, but the comments, we will read those comments here on the show if they're pertinent to the conversation that we having here. So we really appreciate you guys who do that. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. Really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, man. It's a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And yo, man, real talk, I don't want to act like I'm begging the shit, but y'all niggas been leaving me hanging on those goddamn 5-star reviews, man. Say something, goddamn it. I say something, goddamn it. Shit. It's been about 2 months, goddamn it. Hey. Fuck that. Leave a review. Shit. Right. But no, man, leave us a 5-star. We really appreciate everybody who does it. And as always, you can go to our store, cop yourself some merch, get yourself a t-shirt, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a hoodie, get yourself a sweatshirt, get yourself an athletic shirt, not a wife beater, an athletic shirt. Yeah, we calling them athletic shirts now. Wife beater dead. We leaving that in 2024, man. Real talk. But yo, man, I am about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.